This week.
Hey, everyone.
In old guitar news. Oh, yeah. We should probably say who we are.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steven. This is 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, reviewing, playing old news podcast.
Oh, way old news. We're talking about Stevie T getting hacked off of YouTube.
Hacked. There have been a few bigger channels who've lost their accounts to different things. This one was the Binance Corporation
apparently it wasn't really Binance.
No, it's not. It's someone who poses as a Binance tracking.
Yeah.
And they just run a live stream of crypto feed.
And they try to get you to click the link, I'm sure for nefarious purposes, or just trying to get you to buy Bitcoins from them.
They're trying to capitalize on Doge.
Get that Doge coin rolling in. So I have to say this right now. Like, no one deserves to have their hard-earned channel hacked away from them like that. Like, that's awful. Like, when I heard that happened to Stevie T, it made me feel sick to my stomach. It made me feel that way when I've heard other channels have been hacked and had their channels damaged, basically, because it does cause damage. Like, you lose subscribers. Yeah, you lose. It feels like getting robbed. Like
you spend a weekend or a week or a couple weeks.
Like this channel is my livelihood right now.
Yeah, I think,
this is a fraction of the size of Stevie T's channel.
I think if this channel got hacked, you just have to start all over. I don't think YouTube's going to do anything.
I wouldn't be able to start the channel over because it took me 5 years of transitioning from my previous career path to be able to build this to earn my income. Like, I wouldn't be able to start from scratch and be able to pay my bills.
Oh, yeah, because you wouldn't have the residuals.
Right. It would,
so to speak.
It would, if this channel got hacked, our channel got hacked, and I was not able to recover it, like if YouTube was not able to recover it, that would just be the end.
This is why you guys should be all supporting us on Patreon. Every single one of you. $1.
Like, I would probably have to go get,
for as little as $1 a month, you too can feed Ryan's children.
Well, here's what I would do. Here's what I would do if I got hacked in that way and YouTube either was unable or refused to restore my channel, because there's technically no one at YouTube that you can hit up and be like, help me. You can't find anyone and tell them to help you. Like, the reason Stevie T got his channel back at all is because his fans were reporting his channel. They're like, something's wrong. They're reporting the whole channel to YouTube, and eventually they noticed something was wrong. So that would have to happen on a massive scale. If I wasn't able to get it back, like, worst case scenario, if this channel got hacked,
OnlyFans,
I would be looking for work. But at the same time, I would just be selling stuff, just garage sale level, move stuff to pay my bills, because I'm doing.
It's just going to be offer up for sale box of very affordable pedals. Text. I used to be a YouTuber, but then my channel got hacked, so now I'm selling everything. My loss is your gain. So dark.
It would be so sad. Like, I can't imagine, like, the sick feeling he must have been experiencing going through this the couple days that he went through it. That just, like, sick to your stomach feeling of, like, what is going on? I don't have any control over this. Like, my entire thing that I've built is in the air, and who knows if I'll ever get it back.
Yeah.
Like, it's like watching a helium balloon fly away and, like, no. Like,
so I mean, we have some things in place that hopefully would prevent that sort of thing from ever happening.
And we have a very complicated password.
Yeah. And we don't spend any time playing Raid Shadow Legends.
Not once ever. I think that is the common denominator. If you have played Raid Shadow Legends, I can't even say it. I'm afraid to because I'll get hacked if I say it correctly. If you've played Raid once, you're going to get hacked.
I've used
once.
I've used Raid to like, we got that lemon scent. Oh, lemon scent Raid's bad news, man. You need the stuff that smells bad.
Wait, are you talking about a pesticide?
Yeah. The lemon scent one, like you think like, oh, I want that lemon scent because it's in my house. But then the problem is like your cat goes over there and is like, what's that cool smell? And your like kid goes over there like, oh, lemon, I love lemon.
Is that cinnamon Raid?
Yeah. Oh, is that chocolate chip cookies Raid?
Pumpkin spice Raid? That is the smell of the holidays.
But no, man, it's tough. There are some, I will say there are a few channels that I won't name, but I'll let you guys guess down in the comments that if they got hacked, I probably wouldn't feel bad.
Here's the thing. I hate Stevie T probably more than any other channel on
really
YouTube.
More than any other channel.
Not more than Blippi. I hate Blippi more. But any other guitar channel. Like
you can't think of any other guitar channel that you hate more
than Stevie T.
I mean, I guess like hate is I can see why you would hate it. There's like a I feel like there's a
it's a strong word, and that's why I'm using it. I don't enjoy his content. I'm sure he's a fine human being. I know people who know him and say that he's a wonderful human being in person. I cannot get into his content.
That's what I'm saying, though. You're saying that you don't think there's like, maybe, I'm not saying you need to name anybody, but you don't think there's some guitar YouTubers that like, whose content you don't enjoy and you think they're probably not very good human beings?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure there's people that are awful human beings.
But you do not hate them as much as Stevie T.
I think Stevie T's content is an affront to human decency.
Jeez.
But having that being said and put out on the table, I don't want him to go out that way. I don't want him to be hacked. I don't want his channel taken away from him. What I want is everyone to wake up one morning and say, we're not going to watch this anymore. That's what I want. And I want him to still be able to earn a living somehow. I don't want him to have experience hardship. I want him as a human being to still be comfortable and taken care of and have, and have income from whatever, work he decides to do. But I do not enjoy his content, and I don't think his content is necessary. But like I said, I don't want him to be hacked. I don't want him to be taken out that way. Right. I don't want anyone to be hacked.
What I can't say,
it's awful.
What I can say is if his YouTube channel does ever go down, I have heard that Dragon Force is looking for a bass player.
Shut up.
Is that cheap? That was
a cheap stab, Steve. Like I went straight for the jugular and just said what I was feeling. You're digging into old wounds with that one.
Is it old?
That's a
permanent.
That's crueler than what I did,
no,
Steve.
Is it?
It is. It's audience. Audience is what Steve did crueler than what I did. I just told the truth about my feelings. Steve dealt a low blow.
I made fun of a guy for having stage anxiety because he advertises for better health and says that mental illness and depression are serious causes, and then makes fun of people for having mental illnesses. Potato.
Those are real critiques and really real things to point out.
They're not even like my original ideas.
No, not at all. Like I said, people I know claim that he's a really great guy in person. But
it's kind of like that. Like I will say, like, it's kind of, to me, it's
the character that he plays, I find despicable.
Yeah. Billy Madison was really funny to me until I was like 30. And
that's too late.
For the last like 7 years, it's been a rough watch, but I'm still trying. But it's like that. It's like there's stuff from the 90s where you remember it being like really funny, and now you watch and you're like, oh,
yeah,
that was. I don't know about that one, guys.
That's most Adam Sandler movies.
Well, I guess not even like, what did I watched like the old Chris Farley stuff is kind of in that. It's kind of,
yeah.
It's a different kind of cringe, but it's still like
Like the first Ace Ventura is a rough watch now.
Oh yeah, I watched the first Ace Ventura a few months ago, and I was like, "Eee."
Yeah, this is rough now.
But you know, I guess some people still like that, and so I'm not saying there's not an audience for it. I'm just saying I'm not the audience anymore.
It's kind of wild to me, like as someone who's a teen, squarely in that Ace Ventura, Jim Carrey is the hottest thing on the planet sort of era, and everyone knew like 3 high school dudes who could do a spot on Jim Carrey impression, which was just them, spouting a few lines.
Right.
It's really weird in the year 2021 to see someone so huge on the internet who is essentially doing a bad Jim Carrey impression.
Right.
For his entire shtick. It's really weird. 20-something years later, that is his entire shtick. And being cruel to other people on top of it it's really weird to me. I guess it makes sense. It's weird to me, but it makes sense that he is so popular. Like, that is humanity. That is what people like, apparently. So how do people get hacked, Steve? How do YouTube channels get hacked?
Oh yeah, that was actually what we were talking about. So, of course, at least from what we've seen, and of course, this is old news, so maybe it has come out what happened. But my assumption, and because this is one of the most, I would assume he did not get hacked the most common way, which is a straight ahead phishing scheme, which is what we get actually a decent amount. We get emails from,
we get multiple sketchy emails a week
coming in from .cz's email addresses purporting to be like programmers or like,
editing software.
Hey guys, us over here at Ubisoft are getting ready to launch Halo 9, and we want to talk about it on your show. Send us a text on WhatsApp. I'm like, anytime
someone's like, call us on WhatsApp, I'm like, scam. That's a scam.
Yeah. So I don't think that's how Stevie T got hacked, but that's the way people, because what they do is you if you get suckered into this conversation and then they're like, oh, click this link, or whatever, and then you click on it and it brings up a fake YouTube page, and then you put in your credentials, and now they've got your YouTube credentials.
Right.
What I think may have happened is the scheme that's like a couple levels of nefarious deeper, which is the audio plugin scheme, where basically a company comes in and says, we've got these great audio plugins, click our link, download this file, and you're like, oh, what's this all about? And you download it, and then it integrates itself into your Final Cut or whatever, or maybe it's a standalone software, but our video editing software will allow you to publish directly to YouTube. Just put your credentials here. And so you put in your credentials, and then they send it to fake Binance, and now your channel's a fake Binance channel.
Like Steve and I, as a policy, we've decided to not click links in our email.
Unless it's to Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Because we got to play a song at the end of the episode.
No, but you know what I mean? Like if some company is like, hey, click this link, we're like, no, we're just going to search for you. Like we'll find your link on our own. We're not going to click this link that you provided.
Basically,
it's too scary.
Do you have the email open all day? I do.
Yeah, fairly often.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, like if I'm at my desk or I get the emails directly to my phone, and so whenever we get an email from like any company where it's not someone that's like unless it's like someone who's reached out to us on another platform,
right,
or someone that's being introduced to us by someone else. Like the first thing I'll do on my phone is click on the name and see if the email address makes sense. And a lot of times I'll take that email address, if it's not a company I'm not 100% familiar with, copy paste it into Safari on my phone, take off the @ whatever part, or take off the name @ and just hit that. And a lot of times nothing comes up. And then right away I'm like, oh, this is scam. Or like I said, if it's like, oh, we're the official team at Ubisoft and it's bill@gmail.com. It's
right.
Like, yeah, Ubisoft isn't using. And the thing that I found is interesting going on with Ubisoft, there's a lot of other these different, actually Raid, we've gotten fake promos for Raid.
Oh, totally.
And a lot of times if the studio's website might be like, again, using Ubisoft an example, I don't know what theirs is, but say it's ubisoft.com, the email address might actually be at ubisoftware.com.
Right.
So they try to do something really similar, but they're just trying to get that communication. They're trying to get that information. When I see stuff like that, I just delete it. Like, I don't even leave it in the box. Like, I don't leave it on red. I just delete it.
Like, it's easy for us to spot these things and be like, well, we never cover software. We never cover plugins. We never cover
makeup. People want to send us makeup.
We certainly never cover video games. And so when we get emails like, hey, love what you do, you want to promote this video game, you want to promote this plugin, it's like, wow, you don't know anything about us. And that already raises red flags for us. We're a channel like Stevie T. He pitches sex toys. He pitches Raid. He pitches whatever comes along that will put money in his pocket. And it doesn't matter if it has anything to do with guitar or not. Like, we have a square like focus on, like, we want this to be a guitar channel. We want it to be a commercial thing where we can provide marketing services, but we want it to be in that wheelhouse. And I feel like we're somewhat protected because of that. Like it's much easier for us to spot, like, this doesn't add up, because it's not some dude going like, hey, I'm a new pedal builder. I want someone to demo my pedal. Right. How does this work? It's like these scam emails are like, oh, we're pretending to be this big software developer. Click all our links. Hit us up on WhatsApp. We are going to pay you all this money, and we're going to give you a percentage, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's
over the top.
It's over the top. It's all these red flags. And I think if you're a big channel like Terry Berry or, like Dines or something like this, where you do outside marketing outside the gear industry, where if you caca outside marketing outside the gear industry, outside the guitar industry, like those emails probably look normal to you.
Yeah. I think the other thing that I notice a lot, and to me this is always a red flag, is anytime an email says, hey there, or it just says like hi or hey there or something kind of generic. It's like, I stumbled along your YouTube channel and really love your content. And it's like, okay.
This sounds sincere. Sounds like something a real human person would write.
Yeah. It's like, and and I've seen these where they even try to step it up a little. They're like, hey there, I really liked your video at link to the video. And it's like, yes, that is our video. Why? And there was one we got like 2 or 3 emails in a couple weeks span. I remember that was like, that entry, and it was a link to the video. It's like, I really love what you did in link to video. Would you be interested in selling, or I think we have some products you would be interested in. And it was for like webcams or like, it was like a link to a video for like something really exceedingly dumb that only we would do. I don't remember what it was, but it was like so niche that it was like only a thing, that has no appeal to like webcams or makeup, or like we had someone legit was like, we will send you makeup, and we're like, what?
Do I need it?
Why?
Can you see my pores?
I guess it was because they're like, oh, you're a YouTube channel, so they assume we're doing like the ring light thing, and
right.
Like every YouTuber is Jenna Marbles.
I don't even know who that is, but
she's a YouTuber.
I know
obviously.
I know exactly the genre just by her name, like makeup tutorials or something.
No,
that.
she's like a comedian. I think,
okay,
but
whatever. I don't like comedy.
I know.
I take my life extremely seriously.
We probably should like use a little powder at least to get some of the. You'd probably be able to use
less lights.
Use less lights if we.
What if we did get a big ring light, Steve, and we had those rings in our pupils?
Oh my gosh!
And just or completely washed out and soft looking.
Actually, would I don't know if I would have rings on my pupils because my glasses might take care of that. Take care of that glare.
That's a good question. We're going to have to get a ring light to figure it out.
Test it out.
Let's talk about this ad.
Yeah, good grief.
Now that we're done trashing on Terry Berry, who, I mean, it's basically free promotion for him because now anyone who hasn't watched him is like, well, I want to go see this awful person they're talking about. And there's probably some of you that love him, and now you hate us, and now we're losing subscribers.
This video lost more subscribers than usual.
Thanks, YouTube, for the hot tip. This was sent by Emily Harris.
Who's that?
I don't know.
Wait, there's a woman who knows about guitars?
The doctor's a woman?
Wait. Oh, you know what? I bet she sent this in on behalf of her husband.
Oh, yeah.
Complete set of all 3 Fender alternate reality.
That's so awful.
I'm just kidding. Emily is the better half of the hosts at the Get Offset podcast. Just kidding, Andrew. You're cool too.
I'd say she's an equal half of Get Offset.
I think she's more than half of Get Offset because she does all the demos.
She's the Ryan. She's the Ryan of Get Offset.
And Andrew is the me.
Yes, Andrew's the Steve. Yeah.
Complete set of all 3 Fender alternative reality Tenor Telecasters, unplayed and in original shipping boxes, purchased new. I have only opened to the picture. These guitars are extremely hard to find, even used, but I would imagine this is the only set of 3 altogether, especially in mint condition: Butterscotch, Fiesta Red, and Lake Placid Blue. Never removed from box is where the value's at, man. These can no longer be sold as new. These
Air has touched them.
These are now mint. And also, these were like $500 new. So how dare you?
I'm trying to look for a single one for sale on Reverb.
Well, and that's what's tricky about it.
There's only this grouping that's on Reverb, and they want $5,000 for it. Was that the price?
$5,000.
$4,995 and $99 shipping.
Yeah, I couldn't ship it for free, huh?
And originally these were like $500 each, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man. It's it's one of those things like, I don't believe these are worth that. 3 guitars that were $500 recently made, being sold for $5,100 effectively as a 3-pack, just because they're brand new and it's the complete set of all the colors, and they're not in production anymore, even though they were recently made. I can't believe that's a real price for these. Like, I would accept.
What would you accept?
I would accept $800 for each.
Okay.
So what is that? 3,200? No, it's 1,600.
You said 800.
Okay, yeah, you're right. 2,400. I can't do math. It's late at night, guys. It's been a long freaking day. Kids screaming in my ears. My mind is fried. Yeah, $2,400.
Yeah. Do you think that's reasonable? I think that's maybe the 100%.
Here's the thing. I've got that alternate reality baritone Squire.
Yep.
Brand new. Those things were $400, $399. They're going on Reverb right now north of $750, $800. So I think in our current situation with stuff being like used gear is selling really well right now. All gear seems to be selling really well right now. If someone really wants something, it doesn't matter if it was $500 when it came out new a year ago. People want it. They will pay $800 for it versus the $500 that it was. We are seeing precedent for that.
All right.
So I think all 3 of these for 24 would make more sense than all 3 for 5,100.
Are you ready?
I am.
On May 6th, 2021, there were 7 bids placed by 2 bidders on eBay.
For one of these?
For one guitar, $1,400.
What?
This might not be that bad of...
That might not be that crazy then.
I mean, it's not a good deal. It is not a good deal. $1,700 for a Tenor Telecaster.
They are upcharging for this 3-pack here. Surely it must... Like, is there someone out there that like is making these famous?
I mean, somebody else sold one for like $1,000.
That's crazy.
It looks like.
That's crazy.
There's not a ton of examples, so they don't come up. But Yeah, that is $1,400 for one. You're kind of like, now you'd think like maybe they should be discounting slightly.
Well, I think they're
like jacking the price
They're
up,
working the clean matched complete set thing.
No, they definitely are.
Like you're not going to be able to complete the set again easily. So they're working that angle. But then like does anyone need the complete set of this? It's not like if you are a professional performing recording musician and a Tenor electric Telecaster is the core of your sound. Mm-hmm. Like I could see you justifying this purchase and be like, yeah, I've got to have all three because I'm going to use these for the rest of my life. And I want to, I want to add these to my collection. I can't, it's such a small Venn diagram of people that would go out of their way to get a complete set in matching condition.
This is in a music store too. At least it looks like it's in a music store.
I wonder how many music stores are looking at what's going on with this stuff and they're putting in their orders to Fender and they're like, don't sell it. Sit on it for a year. Everything we get from Fender, sit on it for a year.
Keep one set of the single year. That somewhere they've got a full set of Squier Paranormals.
Right.
Just one of every color in the baritone. Buy the whole set of wasn't there only like 2 colors
of the baritone?
Yeah.
No, there was only one color.
There's only one color. Buy the entire set of colors of the baritone.
Well, they came out with that Antigua baritone Jazzmaster.
That was a while ago, right?
Yeah, but that thing has hit like a collector's market, and people are paying over $2,000 for it now. It's a Squier.
That's because
there's a band that's been using them.
That's because the Antigua guy in our Discord keeps driving the price up. Steve Tigua.
I don't understand what's going on right now. Like this is unprecedented as far as like our lifetime of experience of watching Fender and Squier stuff.
We talked about this before the show. We talked about these and we found that they were $500 new. 500, 400, whatever. Doesn't matter. I think it was 500. And we were like, well, yeah, this is clearly dumb. Like the set brand new is $1,500. Well, we found 2 examples on eBay. One sold for $950. The other one sold for $1,400.
You know what it is? It's because they're made out of wood. People are buying these and turning them into homes.
Yeah, how many homes could you build with a set of 3 Tenor Telecasters?
By the time this airs, this will be old news, I'm sure, but I bet those cardboard boxes are full of gasoline.
Gosh.
I will trade you 2 gallons of Go Juice for
a Fender Tenor Telecaster.
Oh my gosh, thank you for picking up the slack on that while I lost my mind.
Oh man. Well, here's what I think about that, Ryan.
What do you think?
This drum beat is from the Lead Guitar Toolkit. They're the sponsor of this show.
Let's pick another one. There we go. Pop Rocker 120.
I could groove to this one for a while.
Yeah.
It's just a straight ahead 120 RPM, BPM little beat here. There's a whole bunch of these. Let's hit another one. Okay, we should stop and actually do the ad. Lead Guitar Toolkit. We're messing around with the drums, but they've got a little lick maker, a little lick master. Has trainers and a tab. It's got jam tracks in this suite. This is an app suite.
It's a suite of applications for your phone that give you a bunch of tools to practice guitar alongside some drum beats, some looped guitar parts with drum beats. There's an app that guides you through musical theory with the Modal Buddy.
Modal Buddy.
There's the Lick Master, which has lessons with tabs that you can play along to and stuff like that. And the Lick Master, I messed around with that the other night. Like it's really convenient because it'll play in chunks. Like you select the chunk and you press play and it'll play like 4 notes at a time and you can sit there and repeat it and really learn those 4 notes at a time and then move on to the next 4 notes. And it's a really effective way to learn various little songs. By the way, all the apps, you might be thinking like, oh, some music apps. These are being put together by some app developer I've never heard of before in a country I've never heard of before. And there's, they'll never be updated. There's no support. These aren't people that I can talk to and contact. No, all these 4 apps are put together by 2 brothers in Rhode Island.
One of them's a drummer?
One's a drummer, one's a guitarist. You're hearing them playing in these tracks. This is music made by real people.
Yeah.
Making this app, who are doing it because this is, it's music. We love music. They love music. That's why they're doing it. And so when they emailed us, I was like, yeah, this is something that I feel totally excited to
here's the
accept
thing.
as a sponsorship.
Here's the thing. Ron's first rig was a PV Predator and a gross Gorilla amp. That's what skanky means, right?
Right.
Gross. I want to see a picture of that, and I want to see a picture of Ron's mini pedal horde.
Yeah, they sent us some fun facts about them as people. Ron took first place in a statewide jazz competition when he was 15.
I think that's Rick.
Oh, Rick did.
Yeah.
There you go.
Rick is a drummer. He lived that whiplash life. They're just a couple of regular guys who made an app. Go check it out. Check out the link below.
It says here in their high school talent show in 1998, they played a cover of a Smashing Pumpkins song. They sent us facts about the real people that they are.
Yeah. leadguitartoolkit.com/60cyclehum will take you to what you need to know. It'll take you to the app store.
It's $15 for all 4 apps, or you could do 1 app at a time for $5, I think. The drum beats one, it's got hundreds of drum beats in it, literally hundreds of them, like 400 or something like that. A decent sized chunk of them. You do have to have the premium account to access them, but there's tons of stuff in there that you don't have to have the premium account.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah, I've been sitting on the couch jamming to these apps while using the Mustang Micro, and it's just like a perfect pairing. Mustang Micro plus these apps. It's been a lot of fun. I like to pull up the hip hop break beats and jam wah guitar over the break beats.
Go check them out. Ryan, you got anything new?
Oh, that's a good question. I thought I did, but now I can't remember.
Dude, I did that thing again where I had a thing and I forgot.
We don't have anything new, guys.
I should write these down.
I mean, by the time this video's up, by this time this episode's up, you've already seen the video, or you know that I published it. I filmed my demo of some Wampler MIDI pedals today, and I had kind of a great time. I did the Plexi Drive Mini. I did the Ratsbane Mini, which is like a rat style thing. And then I did the Bell Overdrive, which is based on the Nobel ODR1, which apparently is like the secret sauce that all the Nashville session guys use, which I've heard that for a long time, like people talking about that pedal. And I know I've always just been dismissive, like, okay, sure, Nashville session guys. Why do I care? How does that affect me? But I actually had a really great time with this overdrive, which is weird because I usually don't bond with overdrives. But I really want to spend some time figuring this thing out because it did. You see it, you're like, oh, a green overdrive. I get it. It's going to be like a tube screamer. It's different somehow. It hits different.
This pedal has a plague doctor on it.
Yeah. I actually really connected with the Plexi Drive too. Like I was having fun just like coaxing feedback out of these pedals. Like I was just strumming chords and then sitting there, especially with the Plexi Drive, feeling the amps kind of resonate with the distortion and feeling the character and the clipping of the distortion kind of morph and pulsate and change as the note rang out. And it was giving me goosebumps. Like I was like the hair was standing up on the back of my neck.
Creepy.
With the Plexi Drive, which I was not expecting to happen. I'm not like a high gain Marshall type guy, but like it was triggering some sort of response in me. So I had a much better time than I was expecting to playing these mini pedals today. So yeah, Wampler MIDI pedals. Go watch my video of those. That's my what's new, I guess.
Still can't think of anything. Man, very disappointed.
I'm more disappointed than you are, Steve. Like, you're supposed to have something ready to go, and here we are. You got nothing.
You know what? Let's just talk about this real Fender.
This is a real Fender.
These poor guys at the pawn shop look physically ill when I told them this was about $100 guitar, and it's definitely not a Fender. I said, I hope you guys didn't pay much for it. They wouldn't tell me how much they paid for it. They said the customer who brought it in said it was a genuine Fender custom shop, one of a kind. I said, yeah, it's definitely one of a kind. It's got a horrible paint job on it. We don't even have to make fun of this because this guy's making fun of it for us.
Yeah, yeah.
And from what I can tell, Wilkinson Hardware.
I have no idea.
The guy even put some Fender tags on the tuners. They have a $700 price tag on it that says regular price $1,300. I still don't think they totally believed me as I left. Worst fake ever. I think I've seen worse.
I've seen worse. But it is humorous that a pawn shop would be fooled by this. Like, pawn shops are supposed to be pretty savvy with music instrument stuff at this point. Like, they've got Google, they've got eBay, they can figure it out.
Right.
I will say, I mean, there's a lot that visually does not work on this. I kind of dig the way they put the logo on there all huge and like going off the edge of the headstock. I kind of like that.
It's a very I feel like it's in line with the like the Fender HM era,
right?
Just like Strat.
Like the headstock shape is obviously whack, like fully whack. And look at the way the low E string is wound. It's going the wrong way. But I kind of want to Photoshop that together, like a Fender headstock with the logo huge on it. And in a color that you wouldn't expect. Like this Fender logo is bright yellow
it's trying to match the pick guard
on a maple headstock. And yeah, the guitar body is a Telecaster body that is like, what is that green? It is like Kelly green with a yellow pearloid pick guard. Is this like those are like football colors, right? Is this like a football color theme thing?
Maybe.
What team is that?
The Green Bay Packers.
There you go.
Here's my concern.
What it needs is a white pickup and white knobs.
And then it can really be football themed.
It needs white plastic. No, I think it would just pop in a really fun way. I don't know if that would make it football themed or not, but I think it would pop in a fun way.
They've got like a Glock sign on the wall. This is a pawn shop that sells guns. What I'm worried about is like
kind of funny that they have all those guns around and they still got robbed.
Oh, that was a good one. But I am a little concerned about the fact that they apparently thought this was a real Fender. It's like someone goes in there with a BB gun. They're like, "This is a real Desert Eagle. I want $3,000." And they're like, "Yes, sir." And
he said it's a real Desert Eagle.
He said it's a real Desert Eagle.
Why would he lie to us?
Yeah, this is Al Capone's Tommy gun. I want 10,000. Oh, yes, sir. Right away, sir.
You bring in a bottle of craft glitter that you got from the craft store. Like, this is gold dust. Yeah, this is real gold dust. Oh, that's real gold? Wow. If you say so. Okay, well, how much does it weigh? What's the going rate for a pound of gold? Here you go, buddy.
Would you like to buy some magic beans, son? Don't tell anyone where you got them.
I mean, the body and the pickguard are fun. Who knows if that neck is good at all? It might be a fine neck. This might be a player's guitar. They have it listed for $699. There's no freaking way. There's no way in hell that this guitar is worth that. But if I walked into a pawn shop and there was no price tag on this, I might look at this and be like, "Hey, would you take $150?"
No,
you wouldn't offer $150.
I would not offer over $100 on this.
It's a kind of a cool color to the body. It's a good starter, I think. Steve disagrees.
Just paint your supersonic this. Problem solved. Here's the other thing. I'm looking around. I'm looking at this pawn shop. It's very clean. It's very neat. It's a very well organized pawn shop. Which kind of makes me think they got a lot of time on their hands.
Seriously. Look at that guy. You can see the guy back there standing next to the ladder.
Yeah.
He's got a computer. He's sitting there. He could do the research in 10 seconds. We do research on this show
in real time.
In real time, while the person sitting next to us is holding down the show and talking about the thing that we're doing research on. Like, he would be able to figure out what this is worth or not worth. He would be able to figure out this is not a Fender custom shop just by looking at the headstock. Being like this, I don't see any other Fender custom shop that looks anything like this dude. Get out of my shop.
You know, this is so dumb, and obviously I know they exist because it's like the 70s style, but it just dawned on me that this is a Telecaster body, but this is like the jank Strat headstock.
Yeah.
Like this is the knockoff.
No, it's completely messed up. It makes no sense at all. Like you don't even have to notice that it's not the right Strat headstock. You just have to realize and notice that it's not a Telecaster headstock.
Here's what I got.
It does have the Telecaster style heel on the neck though.
Here's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Whoever sold this guitar to the store, if they're selling it for $700 and I guess for what it's worth, they're selling it for $700. The guy told them they said regular price $1,300. They're selling it for $700. They probably paid like between $100 and $200 for this.
Oh, sure. Which
means the person who sold this guitar to them actually probably got more money from the pawn shop than they could have on the open market. Ferengis are real, kids.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, if you know where this pawn shop is, apparently they'll buy anything. So if you've got something you're having trouble selling, go down there and just tell them a story.
Hold on.
And they'll buy it from you. All right.
Steve. You know, you've got some rare pieces in your collection here.
All right. What rare pieces do I have, Steve?
You've got this vintage 1968 Stratocaster owned by Jimi Hendrix.
What else do I have? Yes.
You've got this prototype 1959 Gibson Les Paul.
Right. Made for Jim Page.
Well, you see, it was originally owned by Eric Clapton, and then he gifted it to his friend, Jim Page.
Right. And Jim Page was like, I can't accept this. It's too good. So I'm going to give it to my friend who lives in a small town near a pawn shop.
And look here, it's Albert King's Flying V.
Right. The prototype that Fender made for Albert King before he decided to stick with the Gibsons.
I'm so glad that you have all of these relics.
All these high value collectible guitars that I have sitting around.
Good freaking grief.
I think someone offered me like $450 for the V one time.
Yeah, because it's insane. I could see, it's like because it's not like I made this Strat. It's like I put together things that don't make sense.
Right.
And nobody else will do it. I can actually see that being like a legit offer.
Sure.
For that.
I definitely put at least $450 of work into it. I think it's one of those things where I'm going to keep it around until I'm desperate someday. Yeah. Like when I really need $450, then I'll sell it
when
someday.
Your channel really gets hacked.
When I really get hacked, when I get Stevie T'd and I need to sell things to survive, that'll probably get sold.
I have a thought, Ryan.
Tell me your thoughts.
I was thinking that this episode is brought to you by Big Ear Pedals. They make the Albee.
Nice transition.
Curated multi-effect. You guys got to check this out. I know. They're sold out. Just get on the mailing list. Follow them on Instagram. Keep an eye open. You want one of these.
You want to follow.
Just trust me.
You want to follow Big Ear on social media. They have been posting when dealers have them in stock.
Yep. Go check this out. BigEarPedals.com. This episode is also brought to you by Chase Bliss Audio.
I've got the Dark World here in my hand. This is a really amazing reverb by Chase Bliss. It's not an analog hearted pedal. It is a digital heart, digital brain pedal.
That's okay. Robots have feelings too.
Mm-hmm. What I like to do with this pedal, like the Chase Bliss pedals are capable of so much bonkers stuff. But I have one way I like to run it. I run a like a plate reverb on the traditional reverb side, and then on the experimental reverb side, I run the shimmer reverb. And the way it's set up is there's a knob that dictates whether it's a high octave or a low octave on the shimmer. I have it so that oscillates back and forth really slowly. So as I'm playing, it shifts from this high-pitched shim reverb to this really growly low octave reverb. And the way it just keeps moving makes it feel really like dynamic and organic, and it doesn't become boring. Like sometimes shim reverb can become boring because it's the same octave the whole time. Because this is constantly moving and undulating, it it feels magical. It honestly does. So huge thanks to Big Ear and Chase Bliss Audio for once again sponsoring this podcast that I know you love. You just love it. And those pedal companies help make it possible. So go support them.
This next topic was sent by a person.
That's true. We haven't gotten topics sent by animals yet, as far as I'm aware. Nicholas Martinez asks, can you and Steve imagine, can we, if you were new musicians today, what kind of music and or equipment you might gravitate to? I think this is a really fun and interesting question. Like,
do you say musicians or guitarists?
I think he's saying what kind of music. He's saying if you were new musicians. So he's not even saying if we were new guitarists. We could be any kind of musician now. So that's another thing to figure out. Like, what kind of musician would we be? Probably still guitarists. But what music would we be into? And what equipment would we gravitate to? Like, it's so easy for us to be like, oh man, when we came of age in the mid 90s or whenever, this is what was available. This is the music we were listening to. And that helped shape us. But knowing our personalities and knowing what's out there now, we could have turned out totally different.
I think part of the part of the thing I'm trying to process through this question is like, am I a young version of me? Am I listening to? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I
think you have to look at it through the lens of what are teenagers doing now, and what version of a teenager would you be? What genre of a teenager would you be? Like, you can't say, well, I'm this unique person, and so this is how I would approach what's available now, and I would pick some unique path. That's probably true and fine or whatever, but I think you need to look at the stereotypes and pick your camp.
Well, so I guess what I'm wondering is like, what I'm trying to process through in answering this is like, am I trying... I guess what I don't know, because I don't listen to it now, right, is I don't know what the 2021 equivalent is to 1997 Blink-182 Dude Ranch.
Right.
Like, but the problem is probably a lot of that equipment is the same. I think if I was like making music now, trying to be a musician now, I think I would probably be like, I think I would want, I guess there's an Alesis version of this that a lot of people do, and a Yamaha version, but some kind of like, the Roland synth pads, drum pad, synth drum thing. Like just the square thing. I think I'd get one of those.
Like a sampling pad thing?
Yeah, or like maybe even just the simple like beat maker thing that's got all the colored buttons like this.
Right.
Only it's like beats. Oh, here's a beat. It works different. So like maybe something like that, like your little groove makers. But I feel like I would still want something more analog. So it could be like a groove maker. And when I say analog, like something that's just not the buttons, like something that, even if it's making electronic sounds,
like a synth,
you're hitting it.
Oh, okay.
Want to hit stuff. But yeah, I don't.
What kind of music do you think you would be if you were like 14 right now? What music do you think you would be discovering and getting into?
Probably just the worst garbage.
Well,
music.
yeah, you're a teenager. You listen to the worst stuff.
I don't know. I still think the music I listened to when I was 14 was pretty good.
I have a feeling like if I was 14 right now, or let's say like 14 to 20, like that age range.
Yeah.
I think I'd be listening to like the Billie Eilishes of the world. I don't know why I had trouble saying her name. And I'd also be listening on the other end of the spectrum. I would also be listening to like the Peripheries. I'd be listening to like Gent, probably.
Right.
Like whatever Gent band is going on. I think like 14-year-old me would have been straddling between those two worlds of like kind of like moody new goth alternative and like flirting with this stuff that sounds kind of technical progressive in a new way, sort of thing, but then have no hope of ever playing that way.
Right. I think, you know,
And I'd probably be window shopping for 8 strings, but then never actually pull the trigger.
I would like to think that I would be chill enough to go all in on like bedroom pop.
Yeah,
Like
I can
like,
see that.
So like the Billie Eilishes or like the Doties or the Beata Bees or the soccer mommies of the world. That's out of context. That sentence just sounded like nonsense.
It sounds like nonsense to me. But I vaguely have an idea of what you're talking
You
about.
know, and I think that's where I was going with, like, you know, if you have like one of these like drum pad whatever things and like an acoustic guitar, you're a one man band. You're making music. You're grooving.
I would say, like, when I was a teen and a young player, I was trying to make home recordings because I had so much time on my hands.
Right.
I was trying to do that, and the resources just weren't there. Like, there's only so much you can do with Microsoft Sound Recorder.
Yeah.
And, you know, the free software that was available, even the software that I was able to, like, try to steal back then. Mm-hmm. Like, there was so little you could actually do and so little information how to get started as, like, a home recording person with, like, a computer. It's so different now. Like, I probably, if I was a teenager now, I'd probably be making full songs. They would suck, but I'd be making full songs all by myself at home.
Post it on SoundCloud.
Exactly. I'd be recording these deeply, deeply awful, genty things that no one would want to listen to, but I'd be having a blast.
Yeah.
I'd be having a blast. Yeah. For sure.
And, you know, we've said it, we've talked about this stuff before, but like the options for like budget instruments are just off the freaking rails.
Crazy. I'd hope that if I was 14 right now, I'd have the common sense to get things that 40-year-old me would recommend me. Like honestly, like if 14-year-old me was here right now, I'd be like, stop what you're doing, just go buy a Boss Katana 50 and either buy a Squire Bullet or honestly buy one of those things.
Nah, man, you're gonna get a Boss Katana 100, and you're gonna get a one of those Charvel, that whatever that shell pink Charvel is that everyone's so hot on, because you want to make that shreddy.
I honestly could see, like, the mentality I had as a 14-year-old. I could honestly see myself window shopping 8 strings and like Kempers.
You're probably saving up. You're probably saving up for. You're saving up for a Chapman.
Right. I'd be window shopping 8 strings and Kempers or like Ormsby's and Chapmans and things like that. But then I'd settle for a Harley Benton and a Podgo.
I mean, like the Harley Benton Fusion.
Yeah.
That's a lot of guitar for the price. So.
It is. But yeah, the options these days are incredible. Like what young people can get started with now is so amazing compared to what we had.
And in a lot of ways,
20 years ago.
I think that's what I like about having people send their songs to us, is being able to hear like what other people are doing in their own spaces, you know.
So
and kind of hear like what's possible.
A little side rant. We had a guy become an unhinged in our comment section. Apparently he was going around to a lot of channels just copy pasting his rant, his manifesto.
Oh.
And one of his big talking points was that this channel and other channels like us are actively suppressing people from doing home recording and learning how to write and compose their own music because we're gear channels. It's like, dude, 7 years of podcasting, we've been playing listener songs at the end of the podcast. I'm sorry you've never made it to the end of a podcast, dude.
And foreign country national anthems.
And foreign country national anthems.
And a lot of Japanese surf. There was the Japanese surf.
We had a year where we weren't getting as many songs, and I was padding it out. But we've had a consistent amount of songs since then. But 52 episodes a year, we've hosted listener songs.
There's at least...
And you guys keep sending them.
There's at least 300 or so. There's at least like 300 listener submitted songs out there at the end of podcasts. It's just funny to me that he would make that accusation against us when clearly that's not what we do. No.
And he was making it sound. I'm sorry, I'm ranting on this commenter. He was making it sound like there are no channels that talk about theory or home recording or any of that stuff. Like, dude, YouTube is saturated with that stuff.
Dude, Ryan, just admit you were hand selected by the music instrument cabal to become a YouTuber.
No one would choose me to have a place in this industry. I brute forced myself in.
You are driven by the will of the recording industry. You're actively suppressing the common man musician.
It's such a conspiracy
with this channel in order to raise up the Beyoncés of the world.
All right. So you wouldn't pay $150 for that. What would you pay for that guitar, that Telecaster?
Are we talking about this again?
I just want, because you were just closing it. I want to know what your.
I'm telling you, I would say $100 tops.
Okay. All right.
I think I'd say like $75.
Do your housekeeping. Let's do the last ad. Let's call it a night.
If you want to support this nonsense, head on over to patreon.com/60cycle humcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you can help support the show and help us do the things that we do. All right, this last ad was sent by Kyle Barnhart. Looking for this Warwick. I'm looking for my old Warwick Streamer. It was a passive German-made bass, winged neck, and some rash on the back. I sold it in Ottawa, possibly at the guitar show. How do you not know where you sold something? It wasn't expensive or anything, but it had a nice feel to it. Nostalgic mostly. Lol. Let me know if you've seen it. And it has two pictures of this thing.
It has two pictures, and they have 4 pixels between both of them.
That many, huh?
I think this guy just I guess he's in Ottawa. Maybe it's like a small city sort of situation.
Ottawa's not that small.
But it's like, maybe it's like a small music community where maybe someone would be like, oh yeah, I remember that bass. That's been passed around town for years now. I can help you track that down. But these pictures are so crummy. I think this guy just needs to go find that model and buy it new. Like, don't try to find your original bass. I think you're going to be out of luck.
There are 934,000 people in the city of Ottawa and 1.4 million people in the general area of Ottawa.
That's not insignificant, but compared to San Diego,
that's like half of San Diego.
Right.
But can you imagine going on San Diego Craigslist and being like, here we go. This would be like if we were like,
I bought that Jaguar, and I 2 different people hit me up like, hey, I owned that Jaguar at one point.
Weird. People, where did those?
And one of those people we know personally, Chris Weeks.
I do remember that.
Owned that Jaguar at one point.
I don't know, man. I still think that this is a way long shot.
It's a big long shot.
Because my thought is like, if we were to put up like, hey, not even 10 years ago now, 15 years ago, you were selling a pair of white Steinberger bass and guitar on Craigslist. You still got them? Willing to pay top dollar.
I do kind of wish we bought those. It was a matching pair of headless broomstick guitars.
Yeah. This is just, I don't know.
But not just a pair of guitars. It was a 4-string bass and a 6-string guitar. And we were in a band together that wore all white. And it would have been perfect.
So this first picture that's kind of where the text is, you guys who are looking at the pictures where the text is, maybe if the text wasn't here, you could see it better. But there's definitely a lot of grain going on. These other pictures are like performance pictures. And I want to give this person the benefit of the doubt that if they sold this like 10 years ago, maybe they pulled this picture off of their band, off of his band's MySpace.
This is a flip phone quality photo from 2006.
No, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is a photo. This is like a zoom in of a photo that was downloaded off of a thumbnail.
Right.
So it's like they downloaded like the compressed version from MySpace, and then they blew it up, and then they zoomed in.
No, they were trying to find this photo, and the photo had been long deleted, but their computer software still had a log of the thumbnail image for the desktop, and this is it.
This is what happened. This is the real life version of what happens when you just keep telling your computer to enhance.
I hope he finds it. I do hope he finds his bass. But if it's as good as he remembers it being, then the person who has it right now, there's no way they're going to sell it.
Well, it wasn't expensive or anything. It just had a nice feel to it.
But that's what I'm saying. If it's not expensive or anything, he should just go find this model bass and buy that and play it so that it feels the way his old one did. Like, you can't, even if he found his old one, it's got, a decade or more of wear on it.
Of somebody else's filth.
Right. Someone else's filth is all over it. So he just needs to get a fresh one. Or one that's equally used that he can find on eBay or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Tell us about the song.
Let's see. This song was sent to us by Phillip Laclede. He says, here's a song called Feature Rock. At one point, I was helping my parents with their front garden. Found a massive rock just below the surface that, despite 3 people's efforts with digging bars, we could not move. We determined it was now a yard decoration or a feature rock. The song is inspired by the story because that was what was on my mind when I exported it. After this song, we only have one song left, so
send us your songs, guys.
Send us your song, 60cyclehumcast@gmail.com. This song will now load.
It's loading. I'm seeing the little bar go.
Go drive, go. Go drive, go.
If only someone could edit this.
Go drive, go. I mean, somebody could, but more like, will somebody edit this?
Probably not.
Cool.
It's got like 90s detective movie vibes.
It had some guitar parts that it featured, and those parts rocked. I did it. I made a joke.
I like it. All right. Bye, everybody.
Stay grounded.